player of the year this year. Jared, who are you going to go with? Last year, just to remind everybody, to remind our viewers, Jan and Jared went with John Rahm, and I went with Morikawa. So, Jared, what are you going to do this year? Because John Rahm ain't going to be in it, that's for sure. Unless he wins a couple of majors.
Right, yeah. I'm going Morikawa this year.
Oh.
I think, last year was underwhelming as far as wins. He didn't win until he won in where was it? Somewhere in Asia, right? Late in the fall. Mm-hmm. I think that should start, kickstarting him for this season. But really, if you look at his numbers from last year, they were right in line with where they were the previous few seasons. He just didn't happen to win last year. So I think he bounces back this year. I think he wins multiple times. I think he's still a player who's getting better. He's still only 26 or 27 years old. So I'm going to go with Morikawa.
All right.
Wow, that's a good one. I mean, Morikawa, I think he's going to have a good year. I agree. He broke through at the end, and he always had the tendency when he's leading to kind of stumble, and he didn't when he played in Japan, which was good. He actually got stronger, and I think that probably helps his confidence. I think it's going to be somebody we don't expect. I think it's going to be someone, I don't want to put too much pressure on Ludwig, but, someone that's really got an impressive game.
Okay. Well, do you have a few names? Like, are you talking like what? So you're talking about somebody who hasn't been there before?
Yeah. I mean, I like Max. I think Max Homa has got a great golf game.
That's a good one.
I like his game. Everyone keeps saying that Schauffele's going to break through and win a major. I'm not as gung-ho as him as I am on Max Homa. I think he's got a great attitude. He's very popular, and he's really comes through when the pressure's on.
All right. Well, we'll put Homa down for you then, and I'll go with my pick, my top pick, and Rory. Rory just sort of like Scotty. He didn't get a major win, so I know he's going to be hungry for that. He's still on top of his game, so I can see a rebound big year for Rory in 2024. Okay, next up, let's go with which PGA Tour regular do you believe is going to have a breakthrough season? Now, this is going to be somebody who's never won a major, never won a FedEx Cup, or ever finished in the top 10 in the world. And it also does not necessarily have to be somebody that is going to be in the top 10 or going to win a major. Just somebody who's going to break through. And wow, I didn't realize this top 40 player could hover around the top 10, or maybe even he does win a major. So, Jan, I already know who your pick is because you told me on our phone call. So go ahead and let everybody know who your breakthrough player is.
Who did I say it was going to be?
Harris English.
Oh, well, yes, I do think that. I mean, the word is on the street that, he still hasn't reached his potential. Everybody keeps saying he's such a good player. He's a steady player, but he never breaks through. And I think he's like 34. So he's about at the end of what they consider your peak. And I think it's time for him to make a move. So I'm looking for him to do it this year. He's got enough confidence now. He's started to play better. I think he's going to be someone that breaks through when no one's expecting it.
All right. Yeah, because last year somebody would have been smart if they would have said Brian Harmon or Wyndham Clark. So those are the types of players we're talking about. So English could definitely, maybe he's that guy who can find his way into that type of season. So, and by the way, those two players won majors. But Jared, who's your breakthrough player?
Yeah, I'm going Sahith Theegala here. 26 years old, so I think he's still ascending. He needs to clean up the driving. Just looking at his stats, like off the tee is pretty easily the weakest part of his game, but he's a good iron player. He's an awesome short game. He's a good putter, and he hits it plenty long enough. He just gets wild from time to time, so he needs to figure that out a bit. But he's shown upside, right? I mean, he competed last week. He competed at Waste Management. Was that last year or 2 years ago? He competed. Yeah. I mean, he's been up there at the top of the leaderboard. I think he's ready to get a big win. I think he's a guy who could win a couple times this year.
My two players are going to come down to Minwoo Lee and Ricky. And of course, Ricky, that means he's going to win a major. That's what it's going to mean for Ricky. I think he's ready now. We know he went through the personal and the changes, and it looked like that was over. Looked like he got back to where he should have been last year. So now I think he's ready to take another step. So I'll say Ricky, but yeah, Minwoo was someone that very impressed with. Of course, Jan, you know how well he played over in Australia, and it looks like he's ready also to take, because he's been a little bit inconsistent in his limited PGA Tour starts last year, but it looks like that maybe he's ready to, because nobody really knows who the guy is in America on the PGA Tour. So maybe he's that perfect breakthrough type of guy.
That's a good one. I mean, I don't know how much he's going to play on the DP tour as well, but he hits it. His swing speed is up there in the top 5. I mean, and he's a little guy, but he's he's played junior golf. I mean, I've known him since he was like 9 years old, and he's been a superstar. And same as Sahith. I think that's one thing that's a good player, is that he's been there. He's been around the world. He was top junior. He's had a lot of competition, which really helps. I mean, the players that have had a lot of competition when the pressure's on in the majors is huge.
All right, comeback player. Last year, I went with Jason Day, Jan went with Francesco Molinari, and Jared went with Webb Simpson. So we kind of struck out there.
Well, you did well.
Yeah, Day did okay. That's right. He did get a win. So, yeah, that worked out. Now, maybe a little bit more, but he could have been a little bit more consistent. But it does look like maybe this could be the year that he's fully back to being maybe a top 10 player again. So comeback player, Jan, who are you going to go with?
Well, I'm really, really positive on Ben An. He's just, when the coach is telling you that he's ready to go, that's a good sign. And Sean has said he's worked so hard and to make those many changes, and now he's got the putting with the long putter, and he's got, I think he's settled down. He's in Orlando. Everyone keeps saying he shot some really, really low rounds this winter, so that's pretty impressive.
All right, Jared, who is your comeback player of the year? And I know you're not going to say Will Zalatoris.
I'd like to. I'd love to see it. I mean, I think the easy answer is Justin Thomas. I just think he's too good to have another year like he did last year. I think he'll bounce back. The guy I wanted to ask Jan about is Gary Woodland, who I know had a pretty serious surgery. I'd like to see him bounce back. Any thoughts on him, Jan?
Yeah, well, he's such a popular player with the players, and he's a nice guy. I'm surprised he's playing the Sony that quickly. So that's good news that it obviously it wasn't malignant, and they got it out, and he's ready to go. So he had terrible headaches last year, and so now they're saying that they're going to give it. They're going to, hopefully he does well, and I'd love to see it because he's a good guy, and I'm excited to see how he plays. I think he's just happy not to have any headaches. So he's got a great golf game. He really hasn't done much since the US Open at Pebble, but he's got a great golf game and he bombs it.
So you're going to go with JT, meaning he's going to win a major?
Yeah, I'll go with. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think sure.
It's a pretty obvious pick.
But he's got to win a major. That's not so easy to go and win a major.
Right.
So you can't predict he's going to break through a player like that unless he wins a major.
Oh yeah. No, okay. I mean, he'll either win a major or he'll be, back inside the top 10 by the end of the year.
All right.
He's working really hard.
Yeah. I'm going to go with one of Jan's favorites. I'm going to go with Adam Scott. So I think I think also, Justin Rose is someone too that one of those. We have a flash flood warning here.
Oh, I was wondering what that was.
So but Scott is. Both of those guys have another big one left, but I think Scott, you tell me, Jen, because I know Adam's been he's always been somebody that is never, I don't know, it just always seems like somebody he doesn't put the pressure on himself to be a great player as much as I think he could be. I don't think that was ever, it just never seemed like it was something that was his goal. But at this stage of his career, it just seems to me that, time's kind of running out. I need to take advantage of my game as best I can.
Totally agree. I mean, he's 46, but he's very fit. I mean, he works out like absolute crazy. And everybody loves his golf swing. His golf swing's amazing. He's very physically strong. So it's not a case of being too old. He's definitely the man is, he's classy. The only thing is he's very private. He doesn't like to even bring his kids or his wives out to the golf course. he's always trying to keep them away from everything. You know, whenever we go to any of the pro-am dinners, like at the Open, he doesn't bring his wife. The only time you ever see them is when they play the President's Cup, when all the wives come. But he's kept his family away from the limelight. So he gets, when you have trouble even finding him during the week, and even at restaurants. You know, he stays with his family. His parents come to a lot of events, but I think if he can just fix his putting, he's great from 10 feet and long putts, but the short putting is, how do you win a major when you miss so many short putts? You just can't do that in a major.
All right, now I'm going to go through some groups, and this is going to be players to win a first major. So, I'm not going to make it easy. So the 3-man groups, we got 4 groups. Okay, you got to choose one player from each group. First group, Burns, Young, Zalatoris. Jared?
I'm going Zalatoris. I know there's a chance he's never the same guy again, but like when he's healthy, we've seen him. He has 6 top 10s in majors already. Like he's been there. If he can figure it out health wise, I just think he has a better chance than Sam Burns, who has yet to compete in a major. I know Cam Young has, but I don't know I don't know if he's slumping or what. Cam Young just hasn't seemed like the same guy over.
He's
the last,
going through changes, right, Jan? I know
months.
maybe one of these insider reports you'll have some information on that, but I remember hearing that he was going through was it equipment or something? Equipment changes, I think, right?
Equipment change, yeah, because he sticks with his dad. He works with his game with his dad, and he's a PGA pro, so he works really hard on his game. I think he's going to be a breakout player. I don't know that he's going to break out at a major. He gets really nervous now because of his, again, when you're short game, when you're putting is your weakest part of your game, it makes it hard to win a major. I'm going to go Sam Burns.
Wow. Burns. Okay. Why do you trust Sam Burns is going to break out finally? He did win match play, which was important. That was nice to see. But
well, he's got a wonderful short game. So again, you need that with a major. My only concern is that he gets that right to left going, and once it starts going, he tries to hang on to it. It makes it go more left. So that concerns me. But if he's working on his long game, his coach is always saying they're always working on it, but he's got plenty of power, and I love his short game.
All right, group number 2, Tommy Fleetwood, Ricky Fowler, Tyrrell Hatton. Jared?
I went Fleetwood here.
Really?
More by process of elimination. Yeah, I don't think Ricky's going to get it done. Hatton has no top 10s in a major since 2019. He just hasn't really been in the mix.
He always gets off to a slow start. That's the problem.
Yeah. And I mean, Fleetwood has 4 top 10s in the last 2 years. I don't really trust him to close the deal in a major, but I think if one of these 3 guys is going to do it, I bet on Tommy.
Yeah, maybe what Tommy needs is he needs to go in to the clubhouse early on the final day with the lead and have the players behind him choke.
That's how it's going to happen. Yeah.
That's what he needs. And he needs to do that anywhere. He just needs to get that first PGA win, because that's
totally
even been a problem.
Yeah. You got to get that monkey off your back.
Yeah. Jan?
I'm probably going to go with Jared's too. And I was down on Fleetwood last year. I didn't think his golf swing was good enough, but you should see how hard he's worked. It's been unbelievable. And his swing, I kind of call it the American influence, because he was never anyone that worked out. It was a typical kind of like a Lowry, just go to the pub after you finish and that was it. But he has really knuckled down. His workout program is really impressive, and his practice is getting there. So, and he's obviously got a great short game. I didn't like the fact that he went from open to close so quickly and under pressure with that much speed. He was going to be able to lose control of it coming down the stretch, which he's done. But now his swing has really improved, and his workout, like I said, his workout is so good that he's getting stronger, so he can hold off that position. So I think, and it's time for him to break through. I think once he does, it'll be fine. And he's still making so much money. He's got really good relationship with his caddy, and I think that his caddy didn't get down on him. Sometimes your caddy can be a problem if you haven't won or you choke under pressure. And Kennedy's been so supportive that I look for him to be able to break through.
All right.
Even though I love Terrell Hatton's golf swing.
Sure.
But I think the reason that Terrell doesn't win the majors is that he doesn't have the patience. You have to be so patient in a major. It takes 6 hours to play your first 2 rounds. There's too many players playing. You're so nervous. They got the golf course so hard, and one little thing can set you off. And you know what Terrell's like. He's got such a temper. It's pretty funny to watch, and he thrives on negativity. But I don't think it works in a major.
Well, that's why he always gets off to slow starts at the majors, and he seems to always kind of get back into it. But it's just he's so far behind. So, all right. Next group we have Cantlay, Homa, and Schauffele. Jared.
Yeah, this is a tough group because I think all 3 guys could do it. I went with Homa though because among these 3 guys, he's the one I trust most to close it out on a Sunday if he's in the final group or 2. I think he finally got his first top 10 in a major last year at the Open, so I think that could kind of propel him to winning one of them this year.
Jan.
Well, as much as I love Max and I think Cantlay's going to do it. I think Cantlay. He got married in the fall. They stayed there and had a beautiful wedding after the President's Cup in Italy, and it was gorgeous. And I think that's going to settle him down now. And I think it's time for him to win a major.
And then the last group is Finau, Sungjae Im, and Tom Kim. Jared?
I'm going Sungjae here. I like Sungjae this year. I think he's going to have a big year. I don't think Tom Kim's ready quite yet. I think I think he'll win one eventually, maybe a few years down the road. Finau, I worry if his window's kind of closed. He did have a bunch of top 10s in the majors, but he actually has no top 10s in the majors over the last 2 years now. So I just wonder if he kind of missed his chance to win. I think Sungjae's kind of in the right point of his career to maybe pick one of these off.
Jan?
I'm going with Tony. I love his golf swing. And he's really done as little as he could possibly with that his ability and his talent. He's got a great golf swing. His putting has improved tremendously, and you have to have both. And he's one of those players that is kind of calm, which you need in a major. You need to not have that up and down emotion. So I actually think it's time for him to break out.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, not a good year for him last year, so this is a big year for him to kind of get back. And looked like he was on the cusp, but because he did win he won that first FedEx Cup playoff event in 2022, I believe it was. And then last year, it just didn't go well for him. All right.
Yeah, he won in Mexico, but that was a pretty easy one for him.
Now, winning the FedEx Cup is different from being Player of the Year. So, as we saw last year. So who are you gonna go with, Jared, as far as who you think is gonna win FedEx Cup this year?
I'm gonna go Morikawa if he's gonna be
he's gonna win Player of the Year and win the FedEx Cup.
I mean, yeah, if he wins the FedEx Cup, he should be Player of the Year probably. That probably means he won a few other times. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a big year for Morikawa.
Okay. Jan?
Well, I'm probably gonna go with Victor again.
Wow,
because
back to back.
Yeah, I think the players hate the format. They absolutely hate it because of the last few events, you get so many points. But now that he understands how it works, it's like a lot of players go, okay, I get it. I think and I like his golf swing since he changed it. He changed it beginning of last year and he's really good and he's improved his 6-foot putting and his short putting has just gone. Everybody talks about how bad a chipper and bunkers he was, and he spent a bit of time on that. So his game he's pretty much got it all going right now.
He does. He could have a scary year because he still hasn't won a major yet.